I'm Dina Haynes, and I'm back. Let's do a recap of chapters 1 and 2. If you haven't seen them yet or listened to them yet, be sure to click on one of the tabs up here. I'm going to give you a link so that you can go back and watch chapters 1 and 2 because there's going to be some spoilers right now. Okay, so in chapter 1, we got introduced to Neesa. She's in the bar with her friends, pimping her out to some weird, strange guy. And we got to see her with her insecurities on display, which was kind of, and she's one of those girls who she's been hurt, and we got kind of a sneak peek as to why she's so insecure and awkward around guys. Basically, she got cheated on by her ex-fiance with her gay hairdresser, so that's kind of a double whammy in one shot. And she's just not trusting herself right now, and she's not trusting men, and so it's difficult for her. And then we have Ruben, who he's kind of acting weird, you know. I mean, we basically find out that he's on some kind of case, but we don't know what kind of case. And why is he stalking her? I mean, obviously he's interested in her, but he's not showing his best side either. So it's kind of a weird start. But I guess that's going to be interesting to see how it progresses. And I assure you, this is a contemporary romance, so there's going to be an HEA, so it's going to work out in the end. But stick with me and let's see what happens in the middle. This story is going to be chock full of like weird circumstances and surprises. Okay, so let's get started with chapter 3. This one's going to be from Neesa's perspective. Angry honking startled me as I steered my Tesla X onto Wilshire Boulevard and cut off a fast-moving car going in the opposite direction. "Did you completely lose it back there?" I said out loud to myself. Wouldn't take him long to figure out my business number and personal number were one and the same. As I addressed my reflection in the rearview mirror, I spoke with more confidence than I felt. "Calm down. He's not going to use that number." I bit down on my bottom lip and blew a raspberry. Pfft, right. Cross streets flashed by at an alarming speed, so I eased my foot off the gas pedal. If he called or texted me, and that was a big if, I could just tell him no again, or block his number. Any pressure I felt to go out with him was imagined. Well, except maybe Claire. No doubt she'd lecture me later about my prudish tendencies. The guy tipped the scales on being hot, yes, but red flags were waving. Why couldn't he tell us what he did for a living? Trust issues out of the gate? No, full stop. And he'd been a little aggressive for my taste, giving off a distinct sexual vibe. I mean, I guess it kind of worked on me in the end, but then I remembered the flirty way he charmed the waitress. What was he, giving me a lesson on how easy it was for him to pick up women? Rehashing things riled me again. I dodged a bullet, but it was good practice, seeing as I almost said yes. That alone felt like progress to me. Noticing my hands clamp like claws around the steering wheel, I relaxed. What was the big deal? I maintained control and made a sensible decision that felt right. But would it have been so wrong to say yes and maybe take him home for a night of non-committal sex? I could have used a test run, see if the equipment was still in working condition. Prime the old pump. He was nice enough and definitely interested. The attraction went both ways. But then I'd lose control of my emotions and he'd lie to me, but only after years of building himself up as the perfect guy. Marriage material even. Then he'd cheat on me with someone in whom I'd confided my deepest secrets, like my gay hairdresser. And then tell me it wasn't cheating because it was sex with a man. Wait, been there, done that. Got the t-shirt, ripped it up, and set it on fire. Liar, liar, shirt's on fire. Enough. I had spiraled down this rabbit hole so many times before I had named it the Neesa quadruple axle. an extremely difficult ice skating jump performed with several spins. And in keeping with that theme, I had spiraled away from a new prospect yet again. Headed home to lean on my faithful dog for companionship. It was fine. I was happy. Sure, success hadn't come easy for me, but I'd managed to pay off my mom's hospital bills after a very expensive bout with cancer. No small feat. I knew money didn't equal happiness, but I came from meager beginnings. It should have been enough for me. An abrupt ringtone ripped through the quiet, startling me out of my funk. Mom popped up on the car's console, and I glanced at the clock. It was almost 11:30, which meant it was 1:30 in Missouri. I cringed. No good conversation could be had when she called at that hour. I punched the screen and spoke with false enthusiasm. "What are you doing up, Mom? It's past your bedtime." "Tell that to your brother. Guess where I just picked him up." She referred to him as my brother a lot lately. Not her son, her baby boy, her precious pride and joy. Those terms hadn't been used since he was small enough to ride the handlebars on my bicycle. I said, "I don't know, but I'm sure you're going to tell me." "The police station. He got arrested for drunk driving." I heard the low purr from her car's engine and Nick's voice in the background. Whatever he had to say with his devil-may-care tone, my mom wasn't going to take it well. "Honestly, Nick, why did I survive cancer to watch you fuck up your life and throw it all away? You should have stayed in school and gotten a good job." "Ma, I have a good job. Assistant butcher at County Market? Does that sound like something you want to be doing when you're 40 or even 30? Nick said, "County has opportunities." Mom said, "Oh, like the promotion you rejected a month ago? After tonight, don't bank on getting another one of those anytime soon. Not with a drunk driving mark on your record, mister. You're lucky you didn't kill someone." Nick said, "I wasn't endangering lives, and I wasn't drunk. Neesa, don't listen to her. I smoked a little pot, that's all. And the cop let me off with a warning instead of the DUI. I was perfectly capable of driving myself. She only stopped me because I was driving too slow." Nick was always getting out of trouble unscathed. Had he been pulled over by a male cop, the whole interaction would have gone differently, but he was lucky like that. Women loved him. And some of the boys, too. "Okay, guys," I said. "What do you want me to do about it? I'm thousands of miles away and about to go to bed. I think Nick's learned not to drive while under the influence." "You think?" Mom said in a mocking tone. I heard a dull smack, and Nick yelled out. "Because I don't think he has," Mom continued. "I swear he's got a walnut knocking around inside his skull sometimes." I winced. "Look, I'm glad you're both safe, but no harm, no foul. Right, Mom?" Mom said, "I thought you might have some advice for your little brother since he doesn't listen to me anymore. I swear I'm this close to packing his bags and sending him to live with you." "What do you mean? I thought you were living with Sylvia, Nick." "Not since they broke up a week ago. Guess she didn't want a video game playing pot smoking loser for a boyfriend anymore." "Mom, I'm sitting right here." I winced. I hated hearing her talk down to him. I understood her frustration, but I didn't enjoy being the referee. "Mom, look, just count our blessings. Both of you are safe. Nick's record is clean." Mom made an ugly noise. "Yeah, for now." "Tomorrow's a new day. I'm not even home yet and I'm exhausted. Let's talk tomorrow." "You're out? What time is it in LA?" "Not even midnight," Nick answered. "I wasn't talking to you. I'm not talking to you till morning." Mom focused on me, her tone turning sweet. "Was my Neesa on a date? 'Cause I could hang up. I don't want to interrupt anything if... Too late if I had been on a date. She would have spilled our ugly family secrets in front of a virtual stranger. "No, I was out with the girls. It's been a long day. Nick, I'd tell you to stay out of trouble, but it's kind of pointless." "Right. Good night, guys. Love you. And be nice to each other. You're all I have." That silenced my mom up pretty quick. "Love you too." The call ended. "You're all I have" was how we'd said goodbye to each other ever since my dad died. Nick didn't say it because he wasn't much for sentimental words, but it still had a way of cutting through whatever bullshit we were faced with at any given moment and knocking us back to reality. We had to look out for each other. Minutes later, I pulled into my driveway. I was so happy to be home that I could have cried. Before I could even reach the alarm to turn it off, I kicked off my shoes. After a few painful seconds with my toes stuck in their cramped position, they relaxed and I could walk again. Enola pranced at my heels, her nails clacking on the cold satillo tiles all the way into my bedroom, where the plush carpet silenced them and quiet engulfed me. Into my master walk-in closet I went to remove my clothes and toss them into the corner hamper. Enola stood at the doorway behind me, her head cocked at a curious angle. I hadn't said a proper hello to her yet. She was the black chug, half Chihuahua, half pug, Tyson had given me before I dumped his sorry ass, a parting gift he figured would make me crawl back to him once I came to my senses. As if. I kept her anyway and prayed he'd held his breath until my supposed return. The skin over her forehead bunched together, expressing concern and indignation all at once. No kisses, no rubs. She ripped a loud bark to express her feelings. "Nola, where's your toy?" She had many, and she took off in search of her favorite. Alone, I found my thoughts veering back to Ben. His face had imprinted on my retinas, those luscious lips and that rakish smirk. I'd resisted staring at him during the pool game, yet somehow I managed to memorize his features with surprising accuracy. I wondered how soft his dark blonde waves would feel as I ran my fingers through them and shivered. Something had definitely clicked between us. I tried to dismiss it as purely physical because I was horny as hell. Despite what Claire might have thought, months had gone by since I'd last opened my nightstand drawer. A series of loud shrieks pierced my ears. Bent over and slipping into my soft shorts, I glanced over my shoulder to find Enola in downward dog position, biting repeatedly into her squeaky stuffed cat, bringing on the pain, as I like to call it. I grabbed the tail end of the cat and she tugged it back. "Come on, Nola, drop it." When she gave up the fight, I launched it and watched her tear across the bedroom. I slipped into my favorite mukluk slippers and a worn loose-fitted tee and headed toward the kitchen, phone in hand, and Enola double-timing it by my side. My steps whispered across the tiles into the kitchen as I headed for the pantry. As I retrieved the popcorn along with the buttery spray and microwave popper, I chuckle-snorted, remembering how I bumped my head on the lamp and how nervous Ben had seemed the whole night. We made quite the pair, but he was right about me. Giving guys a hard time was my go-to defense mechanism, and it should have worked. So how did he drum up the nerve to ask me out on a date? "Maybe he likes you." "Shut up," I said. Enola barked. "Not you, I was talking to myself." The pops in the microwave started to slow, and I got a bowl down from the cupboard. A few popcorn pieces fell to the floor, and I was only half aware as Enola put her muzzle down and ate them. "He likes you." My mind spun on an annoying, repetitive loop. I shook my head to erase the scribble on that mental etch-a-sketch. Popcorn bowl in hand, I rounded the kitchen island and collapsed onto the couch in the den. Enola got trapped under the knit blanket I threw over my legs, and I turned on the TV. She dug her way into my lap, and I laughed as she tried to put her face between the popcorn and my mouth. "Silly dog. Here." I tossed a few kernels that landed at the end of the blanket, and she ran to retrieve them. Peace at last. I was flipping through the cable menu, scanning the list of shows on HBO when my phone pinged. A string of texts shuffled across the screen. At first glance, I saw it was Claire, chastising me for not going home with Ben, and my face instantly heated. Claire's text said, "What is wrong with you? Ben totes wanted to bone you, and you said no? Keep this up, and I'm going to intervention your ass. Don't think I didn't notice how bad you wanted him. Dust the cobwebs from that dry pussy before I hang a condemn sign on it." Perhaps if I had read them one by one as they first came in and had a chance to respond, the pill would have gone down easier. But all at once, the text set me off. Claire could be such a pushy bitch sometimes. I sat fuming, the popcorn turning to sawdust in my mouth. I texted back, "He lied. I'm not going to go out with a guy who can't be honest before our first date." The 3 dots appeared, indicating she was reading the text in real time. She texted, "Newsflash, all men lie. Grow up." I wanted to hit back with a scathing reply. I had more dirt on her than a hippie fresh from Burning Man, but it wouldn't do any good to engage. Anything worth saying at the moment would cut her deep. I wouldn't want her to revisit my hurtful words in permanent text form and then throw them back in my face later. Better to wait until tomorrow after she sobered up to give her a piece of my mind. I texted back, "Just get home safe," and tossed the phone on the coffee table. Then I planted my face in my hands. Urgh! I yelled. Try as I might to ignore her, Claire's criticism stung because she was right. I knew the longer I put off sex after the ex, the more stubborn I would become. To add insult to injury, I knew that none of my girlfriends would have turned him away if they were single. I was the lone freak in a group of revolving door hedonists. They called me the prude, the cock tease, the girl most likely to die alone. Why couldn't they accept, like I had, that it would take a Herculean effort to get me to say yes, but that I would get there? Claire's voice plowed into my thoughts. 3 years, girl. Enough is enough. Stop depriving yourself. She couldn't relate to the pain I had experienced when I discovered Tyson cheating on me. Heck, she was a cheater herself. She had no clue how it affected me to this day. How I could no longer trust the little voice inside my head that helped me make decisions. The voice people said to always trust. Well, not anymore. Not about men. Since I had been cheated on, even my trust in Claire had changed. Who did I have left? My face grew hot, tears burning in the corners of my eyes. I would not cry. She might have been my best friend, but she didn't deserve that kind of power over me. Enola crept forward into my lap. Her concerned expression tipped the scale as a sob ripped out of me. Claire's words made me feel small and stupid. I wish she would mind her own business sometimes. Giving her the benefit of the doubt, I supposed underneath the vitriol she was concerned, but it was pointless to argue with her. I had it together in all areas of my life except this one, a sticking point I couldn't seem to get past. And for some reason, I couldn't recognize all my other successes through the fog of this one failure. I grabbed a tissue from behind me and pressed it over my eyes, my body shaking with each ragged breath. Poor Enola was so worried I forced myself to pull it together for her sake. I reached for another tissue and blew my nose. I'm fine, baby. We're fine. Just you and me. It doesn't matter what other people say. We'll get through this together, right? I smushed her cheeks together. Let's watch some TV. My head hurt from the confused battle raging inside. I was hung up on a little thing called fear. Me, a person who had laughed in the face of huge odds and pursued an acting career with success. Someone who had given up certain fame to start over again, from scratch, in a new profession altogether. 3 years and I was still too chicken to face memories of betrayal, to face the odds that it might happen again twice in a row. Despite tonight's defeat and the dubious odds, I knew I would stay the course. Several gorgeous 5-inch heels lined the rows in my closet, and I was ready to put them on and dig in. Okay, that concludes Chapter 3. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you'll be notified when Chapter 4 goes up.